Welcome to Designing for Labor Equity, a Learn at DLF workshop. I am Amy Wickner. I'll start by explaining the antecedents of the resources we'll be demonstrating today. In 2017, Ruth Tillman started the DLF Labor Working Group. Sandy Rodriguez, Melissa Chalmers, and I signed on to co-facilitate. It became clear that members saw contingency, precarity, and organizing as key areas to investigate. This interest led to the Collective Responsibility Project, while the working group continues as a network and hub for land workers to find and connect with other organizers. Collective Responsibility began as an 18-month National Forum grant from IMLS. The project team consisted of Ruth and Sandy as PIs, and Stacy Williams, Emily Drabinski, and me as co-investigators. We held 2 forums, one centering experiences of contingent workers in LAM and putting these experiences in context among other forms of contingent work. We then wrote a white paper after this forum, laying out the situation as we understood it. At the second forum, we focused on organizing and tool building. Participants in the forums consisted of current and formerly contingent workers in libraries, archives, and museums, managers at different levels of organizations, and representatives from funding agencies. Next, Ruth, Sandy, and Cory are going to discuss the latter, the tools that we created following the second forum, in more detail.
I'm Ruth Tillman, and I will be presenting our Evaluating Project Design for Worker Equity tool. This tool is part of the Collective Equity Handbook, which is one of the outcomes of the second Collective Responsibility Forum. We created this one-page document to empower those who want to support workers but aren't sure of the questions to ask or need to cite something to back up their concerns. We recommend this for any project PI, supervisor, or grant reviewer. The document is comprised of 2 sections. Each begins with a grounding statement to keep in mind during the review, includes 5 or 6 questions to ask about the project, and some suggestions for how to assess your answers. First, who will do the work funded by a particular grant? Grant funds should not exacerbate cycles of institutional short-termism, nor should they reinforce the precarity of work or otherwise harm individual workers. Questions include whether multiple part-time positions are being used to do the work of one full-time position, and how the proposed wage structure compares with the cost of living in the region and other positions in the institution. Second, we ask whether the workers will be treated as invisible instruments of completing a project, or whether they'll have opportunities to grow and receive credit for the work that they do. Grants are investments in staff development as well as other outcomes. Of course, it's no good asking for a living wage and professional development time if the project with the lowest labor costs is more likely to receive the funding. If we want to see these factors in position design supported by those who do funding, well, we have to ask for it. So for that, we created a second document.
Hi, I'm Sandy Rodriguez. I'll be covering recommendations to funders, which forms part of the Collective Equity Handbook. This resource provides funders with labor-focused questions and prompts, as well as suggested text that you can copy and paste directly into your existing grant application forms. We provide phrasing for the following sections of the grant application: program description, project narrative, budget narrative, risk assessment, and post-award report. The use of these prompts should signal the critical importance of equitable and supportive labor conditions for contingent workers and grant projects. I'm going to highlight just a few of our recommendations. First, organizations should evaluate how their current application treats labor as one aspect of any grant which creates or provides partial funding for positions. We recommend adding a statement to the program description, which shifts perception of program purpose to include labor along with other key elements. For the project narrative, the prompts we recommend go beyond simple questions of salary, classification status, and benefits toward how those benefits might compare to an organization's permanent staff. Additionally, we directly engage a reality of contingent positions that often goes unaddressed by asking how project staff will be supported during the end of project transition. And a final highlight, language for the post-award report sets an expectation up front that PIs will be expected to demonstrate accountability on how they follow through on meeting the stated commitments made in the grant application process. We encourage all funders and anyone else who wants to make labor more visible to read this short document, use all or part of our suggested text, or build from it to conform with the general structure and style of your applications. See what you get back from applicants and reviewers, assess, and repeat.
Hello, I am Cory Lampert, and I'll be introducing the document Talking About Contingency at Work. We realize that talking about these issues can be difficult, especially in the workplace where there are a myriad of challenges. These conversations are an important first step to increasing awareness, activating a support system, influencing decisions, and affecting change. This resource gives some scenarios in which you can talk about contingent labor at your workplace and provides sample scripts to guide you. We also suggest methods for reading and investigating to understand the situation. Let's look at the document. There are scripts for contingent and non-contingent workers that are listed in the document. There are scripts for new professionals and middle managers. We also give a list of general tactics that people can use depending on their roles and the strength of their workplace networks. Lastly, because there are more occasions to talk about contingency than we could cover, we list some others and a template for writing your own script. Please contact us if you've written one and you would like to share it. At the bottom of the document, I'd like to acknowledge all the help that went into creating this document, and there's our contact information as well as the folks that helped create this document. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you.
The COVID-19 pandemic has only intensified precarity in our field, but we don't have to face it alone. Over the last 3 years, we have been building tools to improve library, archives, and museum labor conditions, and we're not the only ones. None of these campaigns, groups, or tools will fix the problem on their own, but all can address harms experienced in the present. We're always interested in success stories and ideas to work on. You can reach us at toolkit.dobetterlabor.com.